What's going on, y'all? It is the J&R Sports Talk Show. It's our first episode, and we are discussing how in 2 days we are having the finals, the 2024 finals between Boston and Dallas. And it's been a great year. Lots of young talent that's coming into this league going crazy. But it's exciting. It's an exciting time. So I'm the R. I'm Rob. We got Jack over here. Come on now.
Yeah,
We got this. I'm excited. I'm excited for this. We've been talking about doing this for so long, and
Oh,
this
wow.
is finally our time. So, how you feeling, Jack?
great. Knowing that the finals are 2 days away, can't wait for the series to get on this way. You know?
Yeah, I literally cannot wait because, like, honestly, so I'm representing my Thunder. Jack, you're
I like
representing Mr. Bean, Black Mamba,
Yeah.
Kobe. But, well, first of all, as our intro, who's your favorite team?
My favorite team is the Dallas Mavericks.
Okay, I was just making sure we have to put that out there.
Yeah,
This
favorite
information.
team is the Dallas
So,
Mavericks.
yeah, we gotta get you a Luka jersey.
I know.
Or Kyrie,
Yeah.
or PJ Washington, or Derek
personally,
Lively, whichever
Yeah.
one you want. We gotta get you one of those because
Yeah.
even though we love Bean, we gotta get
Yeah.
you in that jersey. It's the finals, man. We should go to our place, our jersey place soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever want to make a run up for it, let me know.
Yeah, definitely. I've been needing to go up there.
Yes. All right, so we can get started on Boston and Dallas, Eastern Conference champs, Western Conference champs.
Yeah.
I'll say, I'm impressed with both teams.
Yes.
Even though Boston, everybody predicted Boston to be here. Like
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah, out of the East.
a very weak East,
Yeah, very weak East.
but it made
I-
it competitive. I like that
Yeah.
because you didn't really know who was going to come out on top in there. I mean,
Yeah,
not
exactly.
out on top, but like who could challenge Boston, and nobody
Yeah,
could
who was the
really
team that-
challenge Boston. But
Yeah.
like their road was a little bit different than we
Compared to-
expected for multiple reasons. So we'll
Yeah.
get to that. But Dallas, as a fifth
Yeah.
seed, is in the
Yeah.
finals.
I know, and they had, in my opinion, a much harder path to get to where they are right now.
Yeah, their road was absolutely stacked. I mean, the Western Conference is the past few years has been the most competitive conference
Yeah.
in probably NBA history. When you really think about the competition, a 10th seed could be one of the best teams in the East.
Yeah,
Like it's crazy. Well,
Yeah.
it's a mixture between the East not being as competitive, but the West just
Being
doing
so-
a fantastic job.
yeah, because even in the eight French playing teams at the eights, sevens, eights, nines, and tens are French 500 players or teams out in the West. They're realistically in the East making the playoffs
Yeah,
as a fifth, sixth seed.
it's very impressive.
Yeah,
Because you could easily be the play-in, and one L could
You're-
change everything. Like
Yeah.
if you get into the playoffs, you can definitely make a run because your team is that competitive, and you can compete every night,
Yeah.
no matter who it is. So, I was impressed by these playoffs. But so let's talk about the schedule on how we're going to talk about this series. So we got to talk about how Boston and Dallas got here. And then we're going to talk about the expectations for this series, and then our predictions for. So I think we're going to have some fun with this. All right.
Yeah.
So Boston in the first round played Miami.
yes, the team that made it to the finals last year.
As the eighth seed,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, Miami's always a threat in the East. Like
Yeah,
no matter who,
totally.
like the
Whatever-
situation.
Yeah, whatever seed they are.
Yeah. So, it was a struggle with Jimmy Butler, not being there. But
Yeah.
also, I know we all talk about like Boston. The injuries that they had to face were so convenient for them. They all
Yeah, no,
each team was missing a very, very, very key player.
Yeah, and specifically the Miami series, it was Jimmy Butler, their number one guy.
Yeah, and I love the way Bam Adebayo
Really
plays,
stepped up.
but like,
yeah,
yeah, you could tell like Jimmy's presence. Like playoff Jimmy Butler is one of the best players on the planet. Like
Yeah.
that dude,
playoff Jimmy Butler is something else.
That man locks in. Like,
I don't know.
but they really missed that. But Boston still performed, still dominated.
Yeah.
Same exact way. Like, won the series 4-1. Like, wasn't really any surprises. Well, were you surprised about anything that series?
With that Miami series, no. I'm not surprised knowing that Jimmy Butler was out, that Boston won. They should have won without Jimmy Butler being there.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say like with ease because they obviously had not Jimmy Butler, Adebayo, who's arguably one of the better big men in the league. But Boston's what? Center's what?
Al Horford.
Al Horford.
Yeah. Well, that was mainly like who they really went to, who stepped up in all these series. I mean, Al Horford is one of those guys where it's like you plug him on any like contender, you plug him on any contender, and you're going to have a player that gives his all, knows his role. He doesn't try to do too much.
Yeah.
And he's just been consistent like that. And like he's been like that with so many teams in the past, and he just continues to do it. And I'm honestly, the way his impact on this game, like he's always in talks of like, you know, being a really key role player. He might be one of those guys that end up being in talks of the Hall of Fame just because of his impact. Not even like, you know, being a superstar or even a star. Like he's just a really important player that any team would be lucky to have. So Al Horford always steps up when they need to, and with KP out, I'm impressed with Al.
Yeah,
I'm proud of him.
He stepped up in that big man role. Another guy for me personally was Derek White for Boston.
Everybody needs a Derek White.
Because to me, Derek White was always that kind of like that guy who's like kind of like that role player again, but instead of the defensive end, he's more of the offensive end in my eyes. He's more of the offensive role player that you need, just like And to me, he in the playoffs in general, not only the first round, was where I really saw Derek White really step up.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited for that matchup in this upcoming series with Derek White and Kyrie and stuff like that. But we'll get to that in a second. But Derek White these playoffs it's crazy how stacked Boston is because of like these players that on other teams like they would be a top 2 or 3 player.
Yeah.
But you got to worry about Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You got to worry about them because they're going to kill you just as much. Well, not just as much, of course, but because you're so focused on them, on Brown and Tatum, that they're going to end up killing you too.
Derek White.
Yeah, and then on the defensive end, they give full effort. They know exactly what they're doing. Like their chemistry on the court is just unmatched.
Yeah.
Like well, of course, it helps knowing that you were going to go to the finals from the beginning because of how stacked your team is in the weak Eastern Conference.
To everybody else.
Yeah, but they performed at expectations, and their expectations were so high that nobody was like really giving them credit for it, and they need to get their credit. They did the work, and it's not an easy win. So they were killing.
Even if their star player is out, that's just you still got to go through that rest of that team.
Absolutely. Yeah. But moving on to your Mavericks, they had a crazy road. First, going in 6 games with the Clippers.
That's crazy. With Paul George, Kawhi, James Harden.
Yeah, well, Kawhi was hurt.
Was he?
Yeah.
I didn't know, actually.
Yeah, no. They went 6 games without Kawhi.
Okay.
So, were you surprised that they beat the Clippers?
Me personally,
as a Mavs fan, were you surprised?
A little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely didn't think they would be in the situation that they are. If it, because to me personally, I saw that the Mavericks had the ability to win against the Clippers. But I could definitely see the flip side of where they don't. If they
Yeah.
just get knocked first round.
Hmm. Yeah. So, before we go a little bit deeper into the rest of the playoffs with the Mavs, I am super impressed with the front office and how they got this team together.
Yes.
Because the Kyrie Irving trade, like when they first did that, I didn't know how that fit with him and with Kyrie and Luca were going to work
Yeah.
out,
I
especially
don't
with
think
the
a lot
fact
of
that
people did.
they didn't have much depth either at the time. But
Yeah.
this like at the trade deadline when they had to get guys like Gafford, and then they Lively came back from injury at some
Yeah.
point during the season, and like PJ Washington, like those key acquisitions that ended up like as soon as they came, like they were on rebuilding teams, got
Yeah.
traded to here, and now they're in the finals. I cannot believe how well that team works together for having such little time together
Yeah.
at a
Yeah.
time where like I said, or like we said, the West is so stacked.
I know.
They work
Especially with
so well, like they've been together for years.
yeah, it looks like they've been working together for these past few years, and they're finally starting to put it all together. But knowing that they got, in a way, the veteran Daniel Gafford, Kyrie Irving, as their two vets, I'd say. It's they
It's
needed
impressive.
so yeah they needed like a vet like I guess Kyrie Irving because he's what got to be in his 30s now
Yeah,
to
he's
kind
like
of really
what 30, 31, or
yeah
20, even 29.
yeah
Oh no, no, he's definitely not 29.
I want to say he's in his 30s, his early
He might be
30s.
32. Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Let me Irving age. He's 32. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I forgot that he got drafted in 2011, but he's been in the league for a long time, so
I know.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm really happy for him, especially all the backlash he got, and
Yeah.
all the hate that he's been getting since that time in Cleveland, and when he went to Boston and then started bouncing
Yeah.
around to Brooklyn, and it was
And
it
then
was
inevitably yeah and then inevitably then traded to Dallas.
and where people still were like he might end up ruining it for Luca
Yeah.
because they didn't know a 32 and a 23-year-old. They like lots of people were saying how well it might have just been the haters talking.
Yeah, it
Honestly,
could have
but
very well
also-
could have been that, but
Yeah.
obviously, because to me, Luca and Kyrie have totally different play styles. They just
Well, yeah. Well, the way that they're ball dominant with with each other, it's basically the same, just in different ways.
yeah
And but on top of that, like being able to move the ball still, like
yeah
we didn't know exactly how that was going to work because the last 2 or 3 teams that Kyrie was with, it didn't really end
work.
well.
Yeah.
It didn't like go as planned. We didn't know if he was going to be back in the finals without LeBron.
yeah
And now look at him
Yeah.
in the finals with possibly the face of the NBA
You're right. Yeah, exactly.
and possibly the best backcourt duo
Yeah.
we've ever seen.
In the league.
'Cause
Yeah, in the league, right.
them boys can ball, man. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, and I feel like with the acquisition of Kyrie at the deadline, what was that? A couple years ago. At this point now.
Yeah. That was 2 years ago. Or something.
Yeah.
Well,
It
no,
finally took-
that was last year. That was
Last year, it
Yeah.
took a lot of eyes off Luca.
Yeah.
And it allowed
Like-
it.
That's the thing. He's the second option again. You
Yeah.
have to worry about it like it's the first option, but you can't like just completely get rid of it because he could go and become a first option in a heartbeat.
Yeah, because
Best ball handler of all time.
And Kyrie has been a first option before, so he knows.
Yeah. And on top of that, I'm so excited to see him against Boston again because we know how much he hates Boston.
And how much Boston hates
every
him.
time I say Boston, I get that accent like Boston. You know.
Yeah.
Like
It's just how it's like a mutual hate for each other. Kyrie hates Boston, and Boston hates Kyrie. It goes both ways, I think.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm so excited. The script is all lining up, and on top of that, Boston still's got all their core players that were with Kyrie, Jaylen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Like I still remember that one game. The one game that stands out was I think they played the Magic. It was like the end of the play, and Jaylen Brown had the ball. He wanted a game winner or something, but Kyrie wanted the ball, and then they started arguing. And I like when Dallas officially went to the finals, I kept thinking about that over and over. Like, oh my God, this is actually happening. And on top of that, you know, when he went back to Boston that first time after he left them, like when he was with Brooklyn, he stepped on their court and like disrespected their logo and stuff. And I'm like, dang. In the finals, in the most hostile environment.
I know.
It's top 3.
Yeah.
I think Madison Square Garden might be a little bit more hostile, but you know, it's Madison Square Garden.
Madison Square Garden's always.
It's a different breed.
Yeah.
But that's why I want the Knicks to compete. But going back on topic though.
Yeah.
The way, not only does Kyrie and Luka fit well with Gafford and PJ Washington, they all
work together.
And, Lively, and even some of their role players, like they did their thing. And I hated how well it worked because, of course, in the second round they knocked out the Thunder.
That was the one team I was really scared of in the West was Oklahoma City.
I thought they were going to do it. I thought they were going to break a record that would end up being the most unbeatable in history, which. They still set a record that I think might be unbeatable, which is the youngest 1 seed in history.
Yeah,
like
it might have been.
This might be impossible to replicate, especially with the fact that they got all these picks and stuff. Like Presti just created a monster of a team.
Yeah, and they still have a lot more in the next 5 or so years.
Mm-hmm. I'm expecting them to make not even a big trade, but just something, you know, Like, they have the 12th overall pick. They got, they got 4 first-round picks for next year.
4 firsts?
Yeah. Oof. They got 4 of them. Like, this team is run so well. But hats off to Dallas for beating them because we just simply got outplayed. Like, they didn't have the rebounding. They took advantage of that. They took advantage of our youth, which honestly was blown out of proportion. Lots of people were saying that the only reason the Thunder would lose is because of how young they are. But I'm like, being young doesn't really determine stuff on the court.
Yeah.
Like, you could at least mention the rebounding. Like, nobody was talking about the rebounding.
Yeah.
Everybody was just saying, oh, we're too young. And I'm like, that's it? Like, if that's your only excuse, then you can't talk ball for real. So, but y'all Mavericks.
Yeah, they
put a whooping on it. I thought it was. I didn't think it was wraps after game 1 because OKC really beat them down.
Yeah,
but they adjusted so well. They knew how to attack us.
Yeah, the thing is with, like, don't get me wrong. I do feel like the age in OKC does play a little bit of a factor. I'm not gonna lie, since not a lot of those guys have got experience in the playoffs. Yes, that's always going to be there. That they're such a young core. Well, Dallas at least has some presence in the playoffs. With even Luka being in the playoffs. Kyrie being in the playoffs.
Kyrie winning.
Yeah, Kyrie winning. They at least... You got to put that into perspective, but some of these guys... They're saying, oh, it's all based off of age. It's insane.
Yeah. It was just blown out of proportion. And honestly, they didn't lose because of age.
They really didn't. It was rebounding.
They because
Their
they
biggest star.
they if Shea barely fouled him in Game 6, what was that, PJ? If Shea didn't foul PJ at the end and he missed that shot, that's Game 7 in OKC. OKC
Yeah.
might have been in it. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, you saw the way Minnesota played against Dallas. They almost got swept.
Yeah.
So imagine what OKC could have done.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm just getting into being an OKC fan again on how I'm ranting about how disappointed I am with the L. But at the same time, I'm proud of them. But this is your time. You're in the finals, so
Yeah.
I can't keep talking about this. I'll save it
Yeah.
for another day.
But yeah.
I've already overdid my time
Yeah.
on OKC talking about that. But we were just talking about the Timberwolves. Were you impressed with how they played against the Timberwolves? Of course you were impressed,
Yeah.
but like, were you shocked at that either?
A little bit. I did think Minnesota would at least push it to 6 games, or to another game. I really did. One of those first 3 games, I really did think that Minnesota would kind of put something together and take one of those first 3 games. I really did, because on paper, that team is good. With that front court,
That front court is
uh,
ridiculous.
yeah, that front court,
Gobert and Cat.
yeah, that's a
Yeah, I kind of feel bad for Gobert, but at the same time I don't. Lots of people were giving him a lot of hate and like saying that he didn't deserve to be DPOY. I mean, I still think Wemby deserved it. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong, but I don't think everybody should say that he was a bad defender. It's just that Dallas knew how to get him in situations that he couldn't show why he's a DPOY.
Yeah.
Like getting him into situations where he had to defend on the perimeter. It's like that's not his game. Everybody knows that. He's just a 95% success rate in the paint on defense. Like but everything else is like, don't get him an ISO situation with Luka at the end of the game when he's down 2. He's going to cook you, just like we saw in Game 2.
Even with Kyrie, you can't even do that with Kyrie.
Yeah,
Both of them will cook Gobert from the perimeter.
there's lots of guards in the NBA that will cook Gobert on the perimeter. Almost everybody. Like we know that's not Gobert's game because his lateral quickness is not good enough for it. But I mean, is decent. Like he could guard some power forwards and centers, but even then, you still know how to exploit that. Or it's not that you don't know, because if every team did know, he wouldn't win DPOY.
Right.
But
because I saw when they sent Gobert to the perimeter. I'm like, why don't you just send Cat out there? He's going to be more of that perimeter defender you need.
When he was on Luka,
Yeah.
man, Cat would have probably got his ankles broken. Yeah. You gotta
Gobert.
I was irritated when they didn't, because you have to have Jaden McDaniels on them in that situation. Jaden McDaniels is one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA.
Yeah.
And that's how, because when you saw him ISO, Jaden McDaniels knew that it was reps, because he was like, my God, why is this happening? And like it was so sad to see, because that's not his game.
Yeah.
I'm like, they could have even ran some type of zone to make sure that Gobert will stay down low.
In the paint.
Yeah. Like, you got to switch it up a little bit. Because if you keep doing the man-to-man, they're going to figure out how to make those switches and get those situations. So,
yeah.
But that's just great coaching, too. That's just great coaching by Dallas.
Yeah. Especially with the combo of Kyrie and Luka, ISO is a bad move in that Dallas.
Anybody.
Yeah. For anybody against Dallas.
It's bad. It's raps. Yeah. But now we talk about the finals. Boston versus Dallas.
I think it's going to be a very good match. This series right here gives Boston a run for its money. Because, in every series, it's one of those the number one option of each team in the East go down. Jimmy Butler in the first round, Donovan Mitchell in the second against Cleveland, and then Tyrese Halliburton against Indiana.
Yeah, they had such a, like, I don't even want to say it's easy because it's the perfect situation happened for them where it would be a cakewalk.
Yeah, and because it just so happened that it lined up that Butler goes down, Mitchell goes down, Tyrese goes down with the first two games.
On top and on top of that, the Pacers could have easily been up 2-1.
Yes,
They were down
definitely
3-0. They were down. They could have been. They blew game one because Jaylen Brown hit that game tying three with 5 seconds left in game one. Went to overtime and they won. Game three, the Pacers without Halliburton were putting belt to their bums. I'm trying to. I don't know if we made it clear if this is going to be a PG podcast. but they put belt to them. They put the belt on them.
Yeah.
And then the Celtics came back in the fourth and won. So that's
That was what,
3-0.
like
And then it was pretty much a wrap after that. After
Yeah,
it
it was
game
what,
four.
a 15-point game in favor of Indiana. That game.
Yeah, I think at one point it was 20.
Really?
I
know
think
for sure it was at least. I know it was at least 15.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was for sure at least 15. It might have been 20 at some point.
Yeah.
Probably not. But still, like, it shows, like, the Celtics are pretty beatable, but I'm also thinking about the aspect of, is Porzingis going to be healthy when he comes back? Because I feel like he is going to be back for this series. They're going to try to push him to at least play.
Yeah, because I just saw something, I think it was either earlier today or last night, that was that Porzingis is probable for game one of the finals.
Okay, so probable. Yeah. And I think that's such a hard topic to really discuss because the chemistry between Boston hasn't been too bad.
Yeah, but it could
not. I don't know if it's finals good.
Yeah, like how Dallas is with, even though the short amount of time they've been playing together, they
made it work.
It made it work, and the chemistry there is just looks unreal.
But yeah, like, they need to keep this team together for next year too, regardless, because, like, to be able to be the 5th seed and then still go to the finals, who knows how good they're going to be at the start with a fresh start next year.
Yeah,
like,
with the same core. Because what I think the biggest thing Dallas needs to do in offseason is re-sign Kyrie.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing I see. But we're getting too ahead of ourselves here at this point. It's the finals now.
Yeah, no, it's all good.
Yeah.
But who do you think is going to come out on top in these finals?
Realistically, based off of how Boston's been playing and how Dallas has been playing, I will say Dallas, just based off of chemistry alone. It just seems like Dallas right now has more chemistry working together with each other than Boston. Obviously, like, Boston has the chemistry there to be that really good playoff team, but like how you said it, I just don't know if this chemistry is finals good.
Absolutely. And I can go along those lines as well, because, like, who knows how this chemistry is going to work when Porzingis comes back, because it's been a minute.
Yeah.
It's been a minute. Like, this is especially for a team that's high, like the Mavs, a team that beat the Timberwolves like they stole something.
Yeah.
Like,
and even
it could something.
Even going back to the second round against Oklahoma City. Because I feel like if OKC beat Dallas in that second round, there could have been a very good chance it was OKC and Boston.
Oh, so you think OKC would have beat the Timberwolves?
Yeah, I definitely do.
I respect that.
I really, because to me, the biggest team I was worried about in the West was the Thunder.
Yeah.
I felt like there was going to be someone in the West that was going to stop Denver. I feel like it always happens. So I just kind of figured like, okay, it's probably gonna happen again.
Probably, yeah. I keep thinking about that, and I don't want to, cause like that's my team.
Yeah.
But I see the bigger picture. Like for next year, I already know this offseason is going to be nice.
Oh yeah.
And the Thunder,
Yeah.
especially because that team is so young that everybody's
Yeah.
only going to get better, and then you're adding more talent to the team.
Yeah.
But
And the thing is, you guys have the assets to go if you guys wanted to go get a vet.
we could get whoever we want. Somebody if a superstar requests a trade, we
OKC
can
can
get
go do it.
whoever we want.
OKC has the draft stock. They have the young talent to ship it. Make a good, really good offer.
And on top of that, it's not hard to find what they need. Like
Yeah.
it's clear that they need defense, rebounding,
Yeah.
shooting, a little bit more shooting.
Yeah,
You know,
sure.
we were one of the best shooting teams in the NBA, but
Yeah.
we can still add a little bit more. Like
Yeah.
a player that brings all those to the table, but also just somebody to take Giddey's spot in the in the starting lineup.
35. Yeah.
Like
Giddey
he
is
could
that-
be, I think he could come off the bench.
Yeah.
But lots of people would just I wouldn't mind trading him to get us a superstar. He's still 21 with 3 years under his belt.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of experience for somebody that's 21. So you could trade for him and get a lot
In
of
return.
good in him.
Yeah.
He's a good player. It's just it was a
I don't
weird
think
time for him.
OKC is the place for him.
Yeah.
But back on track with
Yeah, I was about to
yeah,
I was about to
back
say
on track with the finals here. But to me, fellas, considering they haven't really had a guy go down in the playoffs, they kept that chemistry. I mean, I know we've been kind of talking a lot about chemistry, based off of how Boston's been playing recently versus how Dallas has been playing recently.
I mean, chemistry is such an important aspect in basketball because the ball is moving all the time. There's a chance that you get a shot each possession and you don't. And if it piles up, it could create some type of mental fatigue.
Yeah.
And it's especially in the finals, it's a different game, especially if you think that you could produce for your team and then it doesn't work out. But that reason is why I think this series could go in 7.
Yes.
And
yes.
if it goes in 7, which would be in Boston, the script fits perfectly
to give
for
it
Dallas to win,
yes,
and
to
for
give it to
Kyrie
Yeah.
Kyrie to go crazy.
Yeah.
I need that. I
Yeah,
absolutely need that.
If it does go 7 games, you gotta give it to Dallas. If the script is real, you gotta give it to Dallas and let Kyrie do his thing.
Yeah, but also I'm gonna need Tatum needs to step up.
I know. Yeah.
If the Celtics are gonna win, Tatum has to be the best player.
Yeah, it can't be Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, like Jaylen Brown, he can try to be on the same level, but Tatum needs to be a superstar. He needs to be the guy that takes it over the top because the way he's been performing is not going to cut it whatsoever.
Yeah, especially in the playoffs.
Especially the finals.
Yeah.
Of course, the playoffs, but he's been playing like this throughout the playoffs, and it hasn't affected them yet. They've only lost 2 games all playoffs. They've lost one in the first round, lost one in the second round, swept the Pacers. Now, you might double your losses in this one series, so you got to step up.
Yeah.
You got to come up when the lights are bright.
Because what I've seen with Jason Tatum is that in the regular season, he's a menace. But the moment playoffs, it's like the fatigue gets to him. And he just doesn't perform as well as he did in the regular season.
Yeah. He has a lot of great moments in the playoffs. Last year when he had I don't think it was a triple double, but he had that 50-point game in Game 7.
Yeah.
Where they beat the brakes off of Philly in that series. But, they were when they had to play Miami,
Yeah.
and they almost got swept, and then they ended up going to 7 games and then losing. that was like pure entertainment. But like, you shouldn't be in that situation anyway. Like, how can you get into that, find yourself in that situation after such a great season? Like, he can't, like, from the putting tip off in game 1 on Thursday
To the
to the very end
yeah,
of probably
whatever
game
that
7. I'm
yeah,
hoping game 7. I want this series to go 7 games
yeah.
so bad. But
Jason
if it
Tatum
goes to
needs
7, he has to be lethal.
yeah, because if you have Jason Tatum lethal, that means because to me, not only is he great on offense, he's I'd say above average on defense.
He's a good defender.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a good defender, really good defender. On both, he's good on both sides of the ball. If
Yeah,
they
he
need-
got some all defensive votes. Like, I mean, I don't think he deserved to be on the all defensive team, but like
yeah,
getting recognized for his defensive play, that's pretty good.
yeah, but especially being I'd say a scorer first, scorer first, and then a defender. It's his defense is good, really good for a shooter, like a shooting first player. To a point where he needs to have that defense there, alongside with Al Horford, for them to have a shot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how, like, if Porzingis is back,
Yeah,
like how those lineups are and rotations are going to take place, because it's been different all playoffs.
yeah.
So
'Cause if Porzingis comes back and it goes back to like how it was prior to him being injured, that Boston team is going to be scary. I think. Because
yeah,
to
they're
have
gonna be,
to have Tatum, Porzingis, and Al Horford as your backcourt or as your front court, that's scary.
and Jaylen Brown,
Jaylen Brown,
the highest paid in the NBA.
yeah, and on
And-
top of that, the way that Derek White's been playing, that's going to be
Yeah.
scary. That's going to be a hard team to beat.
Yeah, and real quick, I do have to give my respect to Jaylen Brown, because that contract, I thought that was ridiculous that they paid
Yeah.
him that much. Like, for your second option, and you haven't paid Tatum yet, I was like, how are you going to keep this team together when you're paying Jaylen Brown that much money, when I didn't think he deserved it that much. But in the East, I mean, if you could keep that team together to
That's
be able to get
scary.
into this situation,
Yeah.
this is perfect, because now,
Yeah.
like people were
Nobody's
saying,
gonna
we all
touch
know we all knew they were going to the finals.
Yeah.
It's just like, will they win depending on who they play?
Yeah,
And this is pretty much the best case scenario they could have gotten. Well, probably OKC would
yeah.
have been,
Probably
see.
the yeah. Probably the
because
best- Yeah.
there's so many teams in the West that like are scary, but the Mavs as a 5th seed, technically they could have been like a top 3 seed if they kept
Yeah.
if they were playing like this all year. But like this is probably their best scenario possible. But the Mavs, I don't know how defensively they're going to be able to keep up with everybody.
Yeah.
But also,
Yeah,
I don't
what's
know
that?
how Boston's going to keep up, because Drew Holiday's probably going to be on Kyrie. Derek White, we'll see how he does on Luka, or
Yeah.
vice versa. But like, I don't know if you're going to put Tatum on Luka. That could
Yeah.
work, but I don't. Luka might
you want
do some things.
yeah, because you're really good for defensively. Defensively, Dallas is I think looking at Daniel Gafford and PJ Washington as your biggest defenders right now. For me at least, because PJ Washington, yeah, can he put you up 20 points? Yeah, but it's just not likely. To me.
Yeah, no, he's not going to have a 20-point game.
Someone like Kyrie, Luka, and then with Daniel Gafford, yeah, he's not going to throw up 20, 25 points a game. That's just not him.
Yeah. It also depends on their consistent shooting, because, well, I don't know how I forgot to mention about Derrick Jones. That Derrick Jones is their probably the best defender. Actually, no, not even probably. He is their best defender. But like, it's all going to depend on who makes their shots, because you got guys like, there were lots of corner 3-point shooters on the Mavs, and depending on the rotations for Boston, they might be able to stop it, but they
Yeah.
also might not be able to. So you
Yeah,
gotta
the-
look at those aspects too. So it
It,
it's going to be very interesting.
yeah.
But I'm
'Cause
excited. I'm excited for this series.
Yeah. Even if like everything doesn't really, even if Dallas doesn't have a couple good games, I feel like their chemistry can bounce them back right back into the series. And rally though, like if they're down 0-2, they can easily rally back the next two games and tie it up 2-2.
Which
That's something I
honestly,
can definitely see.
I think it is going to be like that, kind of like how Boston versus Golden State was a couple years
Yeah.
ago. Like that series was pretty similar because Steph Curry, Klay Thompson.
Yeah.
You got Luka and Kyrie. Of course, Klay wasn't the same Klay, but
Yeah.
Klay was Klay.
Yeah.
So
Cause it's because the OKC or no, Golden State those last couple years were looking just like Dallas this year.
you said last year or this year?
This year. But I'm really looking forward to see what Dallas and Boston do to try to counter each other.
Yeah.
And,
And that's the thing. Their coaching is so nice for what they have to deal, like for the talent that they have. Like,
Yeah.
of course, any good coach can make it work with those types of players, but their coaching has been spot on.
yeah,
But it's been both of them. So I'm love to see the IQ of both these coaches really go to work.
yeah,
So
it's like based off of what they've seen against not only the regular season, against each other, but these past matchups in the playoffs. I think it's going to be cool to see.
I think so too. So wrapping it up. How many games? Who's winning? And the Finals MVP.
I'm gonna take Dallas in 7, with Kyrie being the MVP.
I got the same. I
Yeah,
got the same. And
It-
I was thinking about it, but
Yeah.
honestly,
it's too good not to have that set up just like that.
I want to say Kyrie. I want to. However, Luka's playing on a different level.
I know
And if Luka plays the way he's been playing,
it's gonna be hard.
it's gonna be hard because I feel like the only reason Kyrie could win it is if he has like a crazy game 7, which
Yeah.
I think he would be capable of because of what's at stake. And we've seen Kyrie in game 7.
Yeah,
Do we need a reminder of 2016?
yeah,
So, yeah, I'm going to say Dallas in 7 with Luka being the Finals MVP. First, I was going to say Kyrie, but Luka, the first 6 games might end up purely taking over.
yeah.
Like he might go crazy.
Because at least this is what I'm thinking with Boston or with Dallas this year. When Kyrie, he's playing a team he hates, and the
You
fans
lock
of
in with
Boston,
those.
Yeah,
You lock in with those.
yeah, and Boston's fans hate him. Because the reason why I'm taking Kyrie for this one is I feel like that's enough fuel for Kyrie to just absolutely ball out.
It is.
It
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Every second.
I'm
gonna be-
I'm
it's gonna
thinking
be
Kyrie's
cinema.
gonna go absolutely nuts.
It's gonna be a movie.
Yeah,
And I cannot wait to get my popcorn ready and watch this.
exactly. Nor am I. I'm so excited to see Dallas back in the finals to really have like a shot. Just like how when Dirk was in the finals.
I miss Dirk.
So do I.
I miss Dirk.
He was my favorite player. When he
I was
in the league.
hoping Chet will use his fadeaway a lot more because he's so good with it.
Yeah,
He's good with it. He just doesn't do it enough. So I think if he adds that to his bag next year, like really makes that like a consistent thing, he would he would take this team far. But
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that this team can do. But I focusing on the
Dallas
finals because
awesome.
we just have this for the next couple weeks and then the season's over. So we
Yeah.
may as well only talk about it until then. But I'm so excited.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah, but all right, that's gonna be it for our first episode of JNR Sports Talk. I'm Rob,
And I'm Jack.
and we'll talk to y'all later.
See
Thank
ya.
you. See ya.